You don't forget now what God has delivered you from.
You will be dealt with.
You will be dealt with.
In Jesus' name. I mean, I struck out so many times, it's not even funny. You know what? Cut the video. You think everything is cool. Mm-hmm. You think you can't go back to where you was.
Hi guys, as you can see, we're in our Christmas PJs. And it's time for a Christmas / year in review with just two of my favorite people on the planet. Favorite people. Introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Morgan. I'm from Georgia. We all met at Clemson. Now I'm at ECU last year doing my master's program, playing softball for the last time in a collegiate program. We're like the best of friends, and that's all I got.
She loves it.
I'm Leah. I went to Clemson and I just finished getting my master's at USC.
Insert the woo. Oh, shit. I shouldn't say that. Maybe
It's okay. No, you can go.
Appreciate it, buddy. I used to do track and field and cross. And now I'm done.
Anyways, it's time for a Christmas year in review. And I just have some icebreaker questions.
Are there some fun questions?
I think some of them are fun. So we're going to start with a Christmas movie. Who's most likely to? Which one do you think? There are 3 movies, and we need to choose which one we think describes each other the best. Or which one of us would find ourselves in a situation like what's in the movie. So we got The Polar Express, Home Alone, and The Grinch That Stole Christmas.
You know what? Cut the video.
I knew she was
Actually cut the video.
I knew she was gonna
Cut it real quick.
You're not even trying.
No. Anyways, Morgan, which do you think describes each of us?
I'm not doing you because obviously.
Let me start your 30 seconds.
Obviously, you know which one is which.
If they don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about the other two, but
I don't really know about the other two. Polar Express, maybe Danielle. Home Alone, that's really not Leah to me.
No, I think Leah's the Polar Express because she's really just along for the ride person. And the golden ticket.
I mean,
you know what? Let me start. Maybe we should have just did a regular movie.
No, let me start here because pause. Me in the Polar Express. Is she mad?
I don't.
When have I ever been one to be like, yeah, let me jump on the end of a train? That's definitely you. I would have jumped on the end of the train.
Did the boy not lose the golden ticket and was walking around trying to find it, running around trying to find it? Oh, okay.
Oh, you know he did get the
Danielle
giving me
lose
food.
her keys.
People giving me food, taking kids. You mad? You
Yeah.
mad? Danielle would be the
Which
first.
is why
yeah, let's go. It's yours.
best.
Okay, never mind. Now we're getting to the intrinsic stuff. Thing you learned about yourself this year.
And I'm stronger than I think I am. As far as being able to go through certain trials, especially every time softball gets hard, and when it gets hard to play, and even just in general for me moving to a different location, I don't like to be far away from my family like that. 5 hours compared to 2 was a difference. Mm-hmm. So that was different for me, and being in a different environment. But then going through that, realizing that everything I went through at Clemson, ACLs, all types of stuff, that I'm strong. God equipped me with the strength to get through, and not only get through, but thrive in the environment.
I learned what the peace of God meant this year and what it can really get you through. Honestly, what I learned about myself, especially community-wise, I realized how intentional you have to be about your circle and your spaces, and how exclusivity is a good thing, and it's not necessarily a form of elitism. You see what I'm saying? Exclusivity is good because the truth is not everyone's supposed to have access to you. You're being pulled here, you're being pulled there, you're being pulled everywhere. And the truth is, God didn't call you to every ministry. He called you to his ministry, whatever he got for you. And the second you start dipping your toe in every other ministry and doing things that God never sent you to do, you will be dealt with. And I was dealt with. Properly too. Being intentional about that has been so much more important to me, because when the times got rocky and when the times got hard and when I couldn't see a way out, I could literally just pick up the phone and be like, Leah, working. I give up. I want to go home.
Yeah.
Screw this. Screw everybody. I hate it here.
That's real.
I found out like the true meaning of good intentional relationships and like what that's supposed to do for you. To the point where, truth be told, y'all, I didn't feel really lonely this year. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
And that's because I had such good friends around me. Like I was like, oh my God, I need a man. I'm gonna say that regardless, but it's a joke. But like, oh my God, I need like I wasn't ever truly actually lonely.
Right.
And that's because like the people I have around me never allow me to feel lonely. And I don't have to beg. I don't have to I don't have to go out of my way. It's just natural and cohesive and, chemical. So that's what I learned about myself this year. How about you, buddy?
I guess I have two big things. First one was like, just this last season, I tried more to focus on my mental strength. And I feel like that was just something that I felt like needed work. And God kind of showed me and guided me to the fact that I was not mentally strong. I kind of just got out there and just, nerves bad. Didn't feel, like I was all over the place. So I tried to work on just consistently, even in practice, having a better like mental, just not even just like positive mindset. That's cute. Right. No, just having like a better mindset, a growth mindset, all of those different things. Coming in with an attitude that like, I want to learn, I want to get better. And like sometimes getting better doesn't mean being perfect every single time. It means that you're going to give it your all. And when something goes wrong, you're going to fix it. You're going to get better. And you want to get better, not just by succeeding and everything, but by giving it your all. And if you fail, get back up, figure out what went wrong. Like I have a tendency to get all in my feelings. And you know what? We don't have time for that. Nobody got time for that. And
there's zero time.
Yeah, exactly.
There's especially like when you're a student athlete, you see that spring semester.
Like you actually have no time. Like you actually have no choice unless you want to continue to be stuck on the failure and then say, oh, like you're in that mindset. I failed. And now you got other things that you can get better at and do better at. And now you're not doing better because you're thinking about the past. Yeah, I've done that multiple times.
That group project still due next week.
Yeah, what you gonna do?
Cry about it? You better cry.
Or you gonna figure it out? Yeah, cry at the same time.
So just working on just coming out there and just trusting God. I feel like that was what made such a big difference in kind of my races, was that it wasn't all about me. I wasn't like, oh, I gotta do this. This has got to happen. I said, this is what I want to happen. This is what I'm shooting for. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll figure out what we're on. Right. And just trusting God when I went out there so that I could just run. I feel like when I first ran, it was you run as a kid, you just out there. You do it.
You're just doing your best.
Yeah, you just have at it and you have at it and that's it. So being able to really enjoy it more, enjoy running, because I wasn't putting as much pressure on myself and I was able to just trust the Lord and just give it to Him and stop trying to carry it myself. But so working on that, but then that kind of intertwines with being away from home, y'all. And if anyone knows me, I went to Clemson, which is basically home. Like my family lives there. So I wasn't really leaving home. I left Georgia to go back home to see my grandparents, whom I love. Shout out to them. They're awesome. And my uncle. All my uncles. But and my aunties. Okay. So being away from home, I felt like it highlighted a lot of my flaws. Because being at home, I'm surrounded by friends and family who know me. And they also know my flaws. And so I feel like they were able to handle. They know how to deal with me, quite frankly. Yeah. And when I was alone, there was no one who knew me at the time, and there's no one to deal with me, right? Because usually they know. I'm not one to usually go up and tell you I'm not okay, except my mommy. But like being up there, I was by myself. There was no one who knew me well, couldn't get to my coffee shop, which is usually where I decompose.
No, Morgan and Leah's house.
It was none of that.
Because when I was at Cubs, like I said, I'm going straight to Doubtfit, and I'm sleeping over at Morgan's, and I'll figure out my clothes in the morning. I use Morgan clothes, use these clothes. I just lived on their couch basically for 2 straight days.
Yeah, there was no opening the door and seeing they on the living room.
There's no rants. I can't go on no rants. I just gotta suck it up, go home, and hope they're on the phone later.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just like that adjustment is also like
that was a tough one. No lie, that was a tough one. I pretty much cried all the time. Not gonna lie. I was like, why did I do this? Like, Lord, why did I do this? But then again, like, this is exactly what you prayed for. You just got to see the way through and trust in God to lead you. Again, another main thing Leah touched on, like, definitely too, what I learned is you got to fully trust. You know what I'm saying? You got to see it all the way through. Like, you talking about quitting, turn around. No. You got to see it all the way through. And the amount of times I've called friends, called family, crying, like, I just don't think this is gonna work. But I'm like, really, Morgan? Like, you said this at the previous school, and you were crying at the previous school. God gave you opportunity, and because of how I was holding on to the past, mentally still working through some things, I wasn't able to receive it. Honestly, truly receive the gift that God gave to me.
Well, you talking about if you don't get let go of what happened to you?
What happened to you?
You can't truly receive
what God's given. You can't receive. I couldn't receive it.
That's a word.
And then my mom was so happy. Like, this is so happy. Morgan, like, this is, you got this. I'm just sitting there like, I don't know what I just did. But again, I expected everything just to go smoothly. I expected to be no trials in, because I feel like I went through all the trials previously. And that was another thing I learned. No matter, even if you are at a new place, God has allowed you to be in a new place. You're not gonna always immediately, like, everything's perfect, because that's what I saw in other people.
That's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like
to
other people.
One thing I learned about trials is, as much as we don't like to be tested.
Oh, yeah.
A faith that cannot be tested cannot be trusted. Okay? And so...
Clock it.
God, I heard that off of YouTube. That's not mine. But even with that, like, being able to get those trials is where I was able to see, God was showing, this is wrong. You got to fix this. Because if not for a trial, or if I hadn't been tested in that, I wouldn't have seen that needs some work. Because trust, if God had done what I asked him to do, and I had gone out there and made a fool of myself, or who knows what horrific things would have happened.
Top 3 testimonies of 2023. They can be intrinsic, they can be athletic, they can be, I thought I was here, but God took me here. Top 3 testimonies, just off the top of your head. It ain't got to be that deep.
Okay. I think I got one right now. Just out the top of my head, one right now. When God removes people from your life, okay, you got to stay away. And the only reason I was truly able to see that is when it affected my performance in softball. God said, okay, you're going to talk back to this person because you think everything is cool. You think you can't go back to where you was. Okay? He said, oh, okay. Had a game at a location, 3 games we played. Again, we playing a team. Did horrible. The absolutely worst series of the season. Okay? And I'm like, Lord, why? Help me. He said, you didn't listen. I told you not to do it, and you did it anyway. You still talk to that person that I removed from your life. And I didn't see it till I got back. I remember I literally texted Danielle. I said, Danielle, it's terrible. Everything's bad. The main thing, let's keep the main thing, okay? I was like, you know what, Lord? I came back to God. I said, Lord, please forgive me. Lord, I'm sorry, because I need to renew my mind. My mind was gone. Because that's the thing here, too. You go back to something you're not supposed to be going back to, okay? Or you even just entertain other people, stuff like that. Peace, gone. My peace was gone, and that's what I need to play the softball. Here, peace. Okay, so my peace was disturbed, and I was just like, you know what? Lord, let me come back to you, because I done messed up. Big time, okay? Then, Lord, like, okay, I got my peace. The next series we had, I felt just so free here. And I was like, oh, that's what it is. Like, when you can't go back to things that God delivered you from unless you want to suffer. And that's just not only, I had to see it through softball to see it that how it correlates to life. Okay. So he had to use softball. I mean, I struck out so many times, it's not even funny. I couldn't even see the ball. Like, if the ball was literally just right there and rolling, I still wouldn't have been able to hit it because of this right here. The piece disturbed. Okay, but anywho, yeah, that was the main thing. When God's delivered you from something, you can't go back to it because your peace, the peace that God gives you, that's real peace. But you can allow certain things, little distraction stuff, to get you off the track. You're not gonna say you're not gonna get back on track. Like, obviously you get back on track, but you don't forget now what God has delivered you from. Don't go back.
Don't go back.
Child, don't go back.
Don't do
yourself out of. Because you will be dealt with.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
You will be dealt with.
You will be dealt with.
In Jesus' name.
My top testimony for the year is, I didn't even know it would have been a testimony, but going back to the rec center at Clemson for that graduation yesterday, and just for me and Morgan, because Leah had a thing, but me and Morgan sat down and got to like look out and like reflect on how far we've come from. Whenever I went, it was always mental turmoil. I didn't know what to do, and I just came to find some peace, read the Bible, do something. I've cried at that rec center. We've crashed out at that rec center multiple times. Crashed out at that rec center, borderline. I wanted to flip the chairs, got angry, do everything, and it's just like, ask God why, question God. We did everything at that rec center. So it's like to go back to the place where you've once cried, and now we're laughing in that place. He did his big one. Peace with that. He did his big one. Peace. That was a real testimony.
That was real.
It was real. It was really good.
I mean, I feel like there have been so many great things that happened this year. But looking back on like all of them, I guess it's just, that God had something planned for me. I kind of took a risk. And, if anyone knows me, I'm more of the bonds type of person. I'm not one for taking big risks and doing all that jumping off cliffs, Danielle.
Catching strays is crazy.
Exactly. But I got out of my comfort zone, and I had kind of this image of what was going to happen and how it was going to happen. And it didn't happen that way. It was less about hitting a specific time or getting a medal or getting a podium or getting recognition. But it's just more of God showing himself through me, I felt like, which was, one, my mental state was better. I was able to run the race while I was aware of what was going on in the race. And I just had a better mindset. My body was physically ready.
That, by the way, that being significant, she was in crutches 2 years ago. Thank you. She was in crutches. I was in a boot. So the fact that we all had, I think this is the first year where all of us had healthy seasons.
Oh, yes.
All of us.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about like
in the same year.
Yeah.
Had healthy seasons. We just take turns passing around crutches and boots.
Yeah. And that in itself was like a blessing, because that was my number one goal, was actually to just stay healthy, which doesn't seem important,
it is important,
but it's actually extremely important.
Yeah.
So and then I absolutely tanked at our championship meet,
and that's fine.
And we were at altitude, and I thought there's just no comeback. When I tell you, it wasn't like, I lost. No, y'all. It wasn't like that. I'm talking about, I ran if not my worst time that season. Something I was like, well, you would have thought we died. I mean, my coach literally said, I saw you stop breathing. Like, I saw when you couldn't breathe no more, because we were at altitude. I was like, ain't no coming back from this. How I was like, God, how can I step on the track after that, after what I just did, after the performance I just put out? And God said, why don't you trust me? And I came back for regionals, and I made it to the second round. I ain't never made it to the second round, y'all. I've never made it to the second round of regionals.
School record holder, thank you very much. Clock that. At USC, she was eating them girls up down there. They were eating spikes all day, every day. They couldn't touch her. They couldn't guard her, because she was just the best. And that's just the truth. Thank you. Anyways, I'm so proud of these two girls right here, y'all. They go so hard every single day. And I mean in school, I mean in sport, I mean in life, I mean in health, correct? I mean, we don't eat and we don't sleep right. But
yeah, we haven't. Again, that hasn't been into play.
hasn't been in the
week, and maybe even the last week.
Yeah.
Work in progress.
Maybe even the last week before that.
Yeah. Last 2 questions in this one. What's something that you thought you would have had this year, realistically, not no man, you ended up...
It's not even realistic now.
Like that.
Let me finish the question. What's something you thought you would have had this year that you didn't, and you can like see why you didn't have
I'm be real. Hello, relationship. Like, quite frankly, when the softball, the school aspect of that, like, I was going off the base. I didn't know what to expect. That was the first healthy season in a new place, right? It was like, okay, softball, school, but maybe to like meet somebody. No lie. If we're being for real, the reason like I feel like God has not put that on the plate right now, relationship, is because I have so much work that I have to do, as far as following his path, doing what he wants me to do first. 2, making sure that even when I am, nothing comes before God, nothing comes before him. And right now, the way I am with my walk, I really don't have the time, my peace. I gotta get, Lord has a lot to work with me on. And to make sure, like, when I do get into a relationship, that at the root of that relationship is him. He comes first.
And that the relationship falls within his plan for your life.
Exactly.
Because you know what's worse than having the wrong man, having the right man at the wrong time.
At the wrong time, because then
and now you just
putting him above you. In a way, you putting him above God. You like, oh my gosh, my man is this, my man is this,
because you haven't figured out your relationship with yourself.
Or
you haven't even like stewarded the relationships you have in your life.
Right.
When's the last time you called your parents? When's the last time you checked upon your friends?
Right.
You want to answer that man's good morning text every single morning, and the rest of your relationships are suffering.
And to be honest, I don't feel like being bothered. As much as I want to have my time, I just don't feel like being bothered. And that's just the code. That's the code. I like being independent.
Matter of fact, if that man is watching this video right now, I'm gonna attach her Instagram somewhere. You must not be under 6'1". Just saying, the shorties to the left. I'm so sorry, but if that man is watching this video, you can hit me up and we'll make something shake for my girl. Okay, yeah. We're not blocking her blessings on this channel.
Okay, well,
anyways, quite frankly, the Olympics. I tried out for the Olympics this year, guys, and that entire season was not what I wanted. Let me not be pessimistic about it. It's just not what I wanted, and I didn't end up going to the Olympics, but in not making it to the Olympics, it kind of revealed like my true feelings about track and field, and just like even some of my the true like intentions behind some of my relationships when you're not winning and when you're not meeting the expectations that people put on you. And it's just like, in trying to achieve the Olympics, it's like, why did I want to go to the Olympics so bad? Of course, it's the highest honors and everybody wants to go to the Olympics. But like, one of the main reasons I wanted to go is because this sense of, I need to prove that I belong in the sport. And I need to prove that I'm not a waste of talent. I'm not a waste of space. Like, I'm not a washed out athlete. Because like, that's one of my greatest fears in this life, is for somebody to be like, oh yeah, she's a washed out athlete. And it really revealed a sore spot when I didn't make it to the Olympics. Now, I need to rewire my value, and I need to rewire my love for my sport, because if you only love your sport when you're winning,
you don't love your sport.
You really don't love your sport. You love winning.
Yeah,
that's what you do. You love winning, and you love being praised, and you love the attention you get from people. But it's just like, it's in the losing, in picking yourself up and still going back to practice the next day, starting over from like an even lower, I don't want to say lower, but like a humble place of like, listen, you didn't get what you want last year, but today I'm going to love my sport. Today I'm going to work on my technique. Today I get to do my sport instead of, I gotta go to practice.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I found that in my off season this year, and I've never had it before. Before it was I just can't do as bad as last year. I can't do as bad as last year. I can't do it. And it's like, you're living in the trauma of the years before instead of like living in your present moment, like getting that love for your sport. And when you do have that love, it's like, it's something that, because it's intrinsic, no one can take it away from you. It's like, when you do have that love and that passion and you find it again, you can weather a lot of storms that comes with sports.
I think that I did get what I wanted, which was, I wanted to get a job for after I graduate, which I did get. Thank you, Lord. And it's the job I want. But start date is between fall of 2025 and winter of 2026. 26. So that's, that's a big range, right? And I'm somewhere where, that makes me a bit uncomfortable. I don't like the idea of not having something to do. So I didn't say I wanted it, but like it was almost like in my head, like I would just assume, right? And I didn't get it, but I think the reason it's good is one, because it's a chance for me to really appreciate being home. Like, I've always been at home. And I think this is great because it gives me time to be with my family and kind of just decompress after really being in school for like my whole life. So this gives me some time that honestly, God knows, I probably wouldn't have taken if he hadn't said stay. And take some time to, maybe do some work, but to be able to figure out and get in a rhythm, because having already just finished my sport, I'm already like, I need to do something. What am I doing? What's going on? Like, I'm like, where's my schedule? I need
teaching you to go with the flow.
Yes, and I'm not a go with the flow type of gal. I would say that was definitely one thing. Is just being able to prioritize spending time with my family, spending time with myself alone, figure out what is it I want to go, what is it I want to do, more importantly, what is it that God wants me to do, and so that I'm in the right headspace for when I do like step into that next chapter of my life.
Ooh, you did good, buddy. All right, last question. This one has to be short. No more than 2 sentences, because we like to what are you looking forward to most for next year?
Just finishing what God has started for me. Just my entire career, softball playing since I was 6 years old. Really finishing that, closing that off, glorifying God and everything in the process, and having fun, and just embracing the moment, embracing being in the present, and not worrying about the future, but just enjoying what God has allowed me to do.
Yeah. I'm most excited to see where we will be at 365 days from today. Next year, this time, none of us will be in the NCA.
Yeah.
Which is insane. So I'm most excited to see where we will be 365 days from today, and just like what God will do. Hope we're still friends, please.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we got our man or something. We can't see each other next year because our man,
and where I can't see my friends. Like, really? What I say? I do what I want to do. See, that's the problem.
That's because y'all said my man said I can't go.
No, we can't go.
That was a joke. I'm doing what I want to do.
I'm not joking.
And I'm doing what I want to do, but like, my friends were there before you.
Hopefully, we got some money to take a trip,
Mark, for that,
or words.
Because quite frankly,
and hold us to this. There will be a trip.
Okay.
Yeah, Hawaii, Colorado.
When though? When do y'all win?
When we get money.
Yeah. Started with the get money. Yeah. Got me there.
I'm excited to just be.
Yeah. That's it.
Just be. That's. People don't let us just be. That's 23-year-olds. They're coming asking us these questions. First of all, let me go on a rant real quick. Stop asking 23-year-olds what we are doing with our lives. We don't know. If we're 23 and we don't have a man, we don't know where the man is. We don't know why we don't got a man. If we're 23, we don't have a 5-year plan per se. We might have a next year plan. We actually might have a 6-month plan. Shoot, I don't even know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow. Leave 23-year-olds alone. We're tired.
Please ask us questions that actually can help us, and not just you're just reiterating what someone has already said to us. What you already know. If you already know I don't have a man, don't ask me.
Where's your man?
Where's your man?
When are you gonna get a man?
Because if I knew,
when are you gonna start having kids?
If you're gonna ask me where my man is, like, if you know I don't have a man, you want to ask me. I hope you're asking me to get the intel so that you can find someone.
Hey, I know somebody. It's always questions, complaints. Where are the suggestions?
Right?
Where are the suggestions? Or tell me where to go where you know a lot of good men.
Exactly.
Or better yet, know somebody that has a son that is of good quality.
Why don't you ask your friends?
Maybe there's an issue with your friend group.
Yeah.
It's always when we get to men, that's when we start. That's always when we start. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being in this video. I love you guys. I can't wait to see y'all.
They're gonna leave.
I know.
Oh yeah, we're not. We don't even know on the next day we're gonna see each other. That's not on the phone.
But that's okay. Like,
which is fine.
It's Lord's will.
Yeah.
We will see each other again.
I gotta go be great or whatever.
Yeah, child.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.